Alright, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, it all well. And Shalom to Arkin teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and sincerity. This is the brother Caleb from the GMS London Forecasters Camp coming back at you with another lesson to edify the Lord's elect. As always, I like to start by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites. The real Israelites are these so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to get Israelites that do look like the other nations, because Israel as a people has been scattered amongst all people throughout various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite, no matter what you may look like, because Numbers 1 and verse 18 states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I've got a little lesson here on an article I was just reading as I was just checking up on the news. It's from Sky News here. It says C19 proof of full vaccination a condition of entry to nightclubs from end of September. It says proof that people are fully stabbed and jabbed against C19 will be required to enter nightclubs and other crowded venues from the autumn, the government has said. So it's got this little video from the British Prime Minister here, Boris Johnson. I'm going to play it because I haven't watched it. But I just want to say, this shows you that this Edomite here, Boris Johnson, is not a white man. Because if you look at the background colour of my phone screen, you will see it is white. Whereas if you look at his skin right here, you can see it's very red. You know, is more towards the red than the white. So this whole thing about being so-called white people and black people is just bullshit. It's just a made-up term. The Most High Yahweh named the nations. So the nation of predominantly so-called white people is you Edomites, because you go back to your forefather Esau. And the name of the predominantly called so-called black people on the earth is the Israelites. However, you are going to get some so-called black people who are actually Hamites, because they descend from the lineage of Ham, be it through Mizraim, Cush, or Phut, or any of those other descendants of Ham. So there's no such thing as white people and black people. Anyway, so let's play this video, see what it says. The sound's on. Yeah, sound's on.
And we're also concerned, as they are in other countries, by the continuing risk posed by nightclubs. I don't want to have to close nightclubs again, as they have elsewhere. But it does mean nightclubs need to do the socially responsible thing and make use of the NHS COVID pass, which shows proof of vaccination, a recent negative test, or natural immunity as a means of entry. As we said last week, we do reserve the right to mandate certification at any point if it's necessary to reduce transmission. And I should serve notice now that by the end of September, when all over 18s will have had their chance to be double jabbed, we're planning to make full vaccination the condition of entry to nightclubs and other venues where large crowds gather. Proof of a negative test will no longer be enough.
Do you hear that? So proof of a negative test.
And we're also
Proof of a negative test will no longer be enough. So they want people to get double jabbed, as he said there out of his own mouth. Now what is this a fulfillment of Revelation 12 and 12? Let's get that. Revelation 12 and 12 states that, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So Esau knows he's got a short time to get his New World Order agenda popping. So he's coming down with great wrath against the people. Now you've got to ask yourself, who are the people who predominantly go into these so-called nightclub venues? It's a lot of young people. You know, I'd say from like 15, 16 on upwards, right through to their early 30s or whatever, maybe even their 40s, they're clubbing it up every weekend in a nightclub. So the government knows exactly what they're doing, because the word government actually does indeed mean mind control. So they're targeting these people because they want to get the youth them, they want to get the younger people stabbed and jabbed. And this is why they're doing this. Now he said that out of his own mouth, the government maintains the right to mandate vaccine certificates wherever they feel necessary. This is just step by step of them encroaching upon people's civil liberties to try and pressure them to take this jab. And once they take the jab, well, they're going to be susceptible to taking the mark, the MOTB, which is the mark of the beast spoken of in Revelation 13, verse 16 on down. So all of these acts are precursory moves towards cornering people into taking that mark of the beast, the MOTB. So just read on. It says people will need to have proof of full vaccination to enter nightclubs and other crowded venues from the end of September, the vaccines minister has announced. Now, it's a good thing. I mean, going to nightclubs was never my thing personally. It's always very worldly, carnal bullshit that takes place in there. So that was never my thing. But it's kind of funny for me to be sitting back on the sidelines and watching all these things that these people of the world seem to take pleasure in. Now these things are coming with a price tag, and the price tag is pretty damn hefty, because you're taking this experimental vaccine where you don't know what it's going to do to you in 6 months or a year. You know, you could end up with all kind of side effects, which is intentional on Esau's part, because it's trying to cull the population. What does it say on the Georgia Guidestones? And they maintain humanity, is it under 500 million? Which is a very small number compared to the amount of people walking on the earth today. He wants the vast majority of the people dead, and he only wants a few people left so they're easier to rule. So that's why Esau's looking to do a mass, I have to put it this way, a mass murder. To put it bluntly, it's a mass murder Esau's looking to pull off. So it says, Nadim Zwahi said a negative CV test would soon no longer be sufficient as a proof that a person was C19 safe. Speaking in the Commons on the day of England's nightclubs were allowed to open for the first time since March 2020, he urged businesses to use the NHS C19 pass, which shows if someone has been vaccinated or stabbed and jabbed, or if they test negative for the thing. He added that in the next few weeks we will be keeping close watch on how it will be used by venues and reserve the right to mandate if necessary. Mr. Zwahi said by the end of September, everyone aged 18 and over will have had the chance to receive full stab and jab, and the additional 2 weeks for that protection to really take hold. So at that point, we will plan to make full stab and jab a condition of entry to nightclubs and to other venues where large crowds gather. And it goes on to say, proof of a negative test will no longer be sufficient. It is hoped that this announcement will help to boost. Exactly. See, this is all a ploy. It is hoped that an announcement will help to boost vaccine uptake amongst the under 30s, which is currently much lower than in older groups. In a news conference on Monday evening, Boris Johnson said 35% of the 18 to 30-year-old, 35% Salakia, of the 18 to 30-year-olds, 3 million people were unmaxed, unstabbed and jabbed. He urged young people to get fully jabbed, saying, it is the right time to help get back the freedoms that you love. See, Esau's a damn devil, man. He knew he's going to strip these people of their freedoms and their civil liberties, the things they enjoy doing, and he knows they want to get them back, so they're going to do anything because they're willing to sell their souls just to indulge in the carnal pleasures that they were doing before the lockdown. Esau knew what he was doing, man. Esau ain't about giving these people freedom. It's all about giving these people privileges. And when he takes these privileges away, what happens? The people bug out and they beg to get their privileges back. You were never free in this society. Freedom is nothing but an illusion, which Esau has deceived you into believing you were, which is a lie. It says he added, I would remind everybody that some of life's most important pleasures, see, fucking ridiculous. I would remind everybody that some of life's most important pleasures and opportunities are likely to be increasingly dependent on stab and jabbing. There you go. Now the prophets, we've been prophesying of this stuff for the longest time, starting with our elders and apostles on down, but it's just playing out exactly as we've said, you know. So we've always been pushing this truth, and now people are starting to see, hang on a minute, what these guys are saying, what these crazy so-called Negroes and Latinos on the highways and the byways wearing those weird-ass robes and holding the Bible and shouting about the Bible. Now we're starting to see what they're saying is actually coming true. Therefore, prophecy is being fulfilled. What does the word prophesy mean to do? To say before. So going on, it says London club is celebrating nightlife return. You see these people, all they're looking to do is slip in, get wasted, snort coke, do drugs, get drunk out of their minds, and to commit adultery. It's just a place of complete wickedness. Nothing good ain't coming from the nightclub, man. Let's see what these fools have to say.
I'm buzzing, like, it's been like a long time for I'm buzzing to be like, literally what you think, I can't wait. It's gonna be lit, isn't it? It's gonna be lit.
I'm really excited, yeah. It's just, obviously it's been such a long time and I just want to get on the dance floor.
I just feel like it's a good experience to have nightclubs again. I feel like I've been robbed.
It just feels like we haven't lived the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Like, all of the people older than us have told us, our whole lives about going clubbing and dancing and growing up in that way, and we haven't had that. So we're about to have it. And finally feel our age, you know what I mean?
These are very nice adults, man.
Our age, you know what I mean? So we're about to have it. And growing up in that told us, we haven't lived the last year and a half.
Yeah.
Like, all of the people older than us have told us, our whole lives about going clubbing and dancing and growing up in that way, and we haven't had that. So we're about to have it. And finally feel our age, you know what I mean?
Grown-ass adults acting like fucking children. So these hags out here as well. Loose fucking women. Clubbers were back in bar fibre in Leeds as England's stab and jab restrictions ended. It says there's already countries that require you to be double jabbed as a condition of quarantine to free travel, and that list seems likely to grow. And we're also concerned, as are other countries, that the continuing risk posed by nightclubs. Asked if there would be a stab and jab requirement for pubs, which there will be, Mr. Johnson said he certainly didn't want to see stab and jab passports for bars, but that the government reserved the right to do what is necessary to protect the public. Government's chief scientific advisor Sir Patrick Vallance said the evidence from the Netherlands and Israel has shown that clubs are potentially super-spreading events. He added that he expects to see outbreaks in the UK linked to nightclubs now as venues are open. Meanwhile, England's Deputy Chief Medical Officer Professor Jonathan Van Tam says, not Van Dam, Van Tam, says he completely sympathises with the sacrifices young people have made. On the science side, however, it is a case in point that if you pack my garden shed full of people there and they are unstab and jabbed, the likelihood of transmission is going to be far greater than if you pack my garden shed full of people who've been fully stabbed and jabbed and are 14 days out of the other side of their second stab. Earlier, government called for caution after people queued to return to venues in the early hours of Monday, after most remaining stab and jab rules were dropped in England. Mr. Zwahi promised that the plans would be subject to parliamentary scrutiny and that there would be appropriate exemptions for people with a medical condition that means they cannot be stab and jabbed. We will always look at the evidence available and do what we can to ensure people can continue to...
The key is, can we do it in a commercial way?
We will always look at the evidence available and do all we can to ensure people can continue to do the things they love, he added. The Stab and Jab Pass scheme, run through the NHS app, was initially launched as a way of clearing people as safe to attend trial events such as sports matches, festivals, concerts, or to prove that they are safe to travel abroad. The nighttime industry expressed concerns over the plan. Peter Marks, chief of nightclub operation Redcom UK, told Sky News, younger guests are 95% of our customers and they won't be fully stabbed and jabbed by September. We won't be requiring them, otherwise we won't have anyone in. Now, just a little bit more on this article. It says Sasha Lord, nighttime economy advisor for Greater Manchester, said the whole industry was taken by surprise. Well, guess what? The prophets of Yahweh Shem Shai We're not. It says, I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but I'm deeply concerned by the discriminatory nature for those who either can't have the stab and jab or for medical reasons or age who do not want to, he added. Michael Kill, what a name, chief executive of the Nighttime Industries Association, how fitting, said, so Freedom Day for nightclubs lasted around 17 hours then. What an absolute shambles. The Music Venue Trust, which represents grassroots music venues, added singling out nightclubs or music venues or any other cultural activity as a space required to deliver such a policy won't work without the tools to do it and without addressing the obvious point that most grassroots music venues have lower capacities and total attendees per day than pubs. And that's the end of the article, but it's nothing that we didn't already foresee. Let's get some precepts to close out. I'll read it again. Revelation 12 verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Jumping on to Revelation 13 through 16 down. It says, and he calls with all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So Esau's pushing towards getting that mark. The RFID implantable mark, the implantable RFID microchip, which will be the mark of the beast, is coming. Right, and these are all precursors to it. All steps. Now, you're not supposed to be having any cuttings in your flesh according to the Holy Bible. These are the laws for us Israelites, and we have to adhere to them to the best of our ability. So it's Leviticus 19 and 28, which states, ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yahweh. There you go. So we're not supposed to be having any cuttings in our flesh whatsoever. So we're not supposed to be taking no stab and jab, and we sure as hell aren't supposed to be taking no MOTB, which is mark of the beast, right? So with that, I hope this is a little edifying quick hit, giving all praises and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahawashi, Ba'Hashem HaKadosh, double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone at all well. And shalom to you, Arkim, teaching this word with faith and truth, and shalom, what a this thing's coming to a rapid end. We're going to be out of here faster than a lot of us would hope to be, Lord willing. I say Lord willing because no man knows the day nor the hour, but basically looking how things are moving, Yahawashi is at the door. So yeah, once again, shalom, wa ababa, wa kwam Yeshua. Shalom.